Chapter 13, Priceless. While Nancy unhooked the brand new clasp on her necklace, she said, um, these aren't real diamonds, they're rhinestones. This is costume jewelry. The appraiser smiled and took the necklace. Yes, I know that. My specialty is costume jewelry. The long chain she wore had a gold-rimmed magnifying glass attached to it. She peered through it at the back of Nancy's necklace. Yes, just as I hoped. She showed Nancy that two tiny letters were stamped on the back, B.L. It stands for Babette Labelle. The costume jewelry she designed was very popular in the 1940s and 50s. Double ooh la la! This was exciting news. Her necklace was made by someone famous, someone who sounded French. Was the necklace made in Paris? Nancy asked. Oh no, the factory was in Brooklyn. Babette Labelle wasn't the designer's real name. She was born Barbara Levine. She was a housewife who liked making jewelry, and one day she just decided she was going into business. So she was an entrepreneur, very much so. Their company was very successful but closed after her death in the 1980s. Lately, there has been renewed interest in Babette Labelle jewelry. This piece is smaller than her most famous pieces. One necklace looks like a waterfall of rhinestones. It would practically come down to your waist. The lady turned the necklace right side up again. Nevertheless, this is lovely, and I'd venture to say that it's worth about $200. $200 is a fortune. Nancy stood with her mouth open like a fish. She could feel her eyes bugging out. When she finally could speak, she said exactly what everybody on the show always said. Wow, that is amazing. I had no idea. The lady returned the necklace. Nancy's hands were trembling so much she needed help putting it back on. If you ever want to part with your pendant, ask your parents to find out what shops in the area sell vintage costume jewelry. I'm sure one of them would want to buy your pendant. Oh, I would never sell it, but mercy be cool, Nancy told the lady and said goodbye. Out of the corner of her eye, she saw Mrs. Devine and Bree rushing toward her from across the hall. Nancy raced to meet them. Bree grabbed both of Nancy's hands. She started hopping up and down. Nancy, Nancy, she screamed. My army stuff is worth $250. My necklace is worth $200. Suddenly saying that made it seem real. Nancy started screaming too, and then they didn't stop until one of the TV people came over and asked them to lower their voices. So on the car ride home, they filled each other in and screamed as much as they wanted. It turned out that Bree's great-grandfather had joined the Army in a special year, 1948. Bree now knew that was the first time black and white soldiers lived together in the Army. Before, they'd been kept separate. The picture of my great-grandpa in his uniform along with the actual uniform makes my stuff a historical collection. Then Nancy explained how just by accident she found out about her necklace. Only the lady kept calling it a pendant. From the back seat, Nancy asked Mrs. Devine, did you know it was made by a jewelry designer named Babette Labelle? She was pretty famous in the 1950s. No, I didn't. Mrs. Devine made a left onto the street, but I'm awfully glad you both made out better than I did. The tea set is a copy of very valuable china made in England, and the silver tray turned out to be only silver-plated. She pulled to a stop. Oh, well, I am no richer than when we started out this morning, but I'm no poorer either. Later, after they calmed down, Nancy and Bree went to the clubhouse to discuss their good fortune. Of course, the Army stuff doesn't even belong to me. It belongs to my mom. She'd never sell it. And Bree thought for a moment. I wouldn't ever want her to. Nancy nodded. I will never sell the the pendant. Nancy loved Mrs. Devine. Having something special of hers, Nancy realized, meant way more than the money it was worth. To Nancy, the pendant was priceless.